Alrighty, hello again, this is Trace Majestus, and we're back in Elite Dangerous Odyssey, back to deep space exploration and heading out to the carrier. So let's get in game and get things rolling. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Alright. Okay. Galaxy map.
Here's the galaxy map, Commander.
9 jumps to go. Retract landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Hello, Shane. Welcome back.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping.
Cut 28. Okay.
Fuel scooping complete.
Alrighty. Geos. bios. More geos. Couple bios there.
System scan complete.
All right, looks like we got about 4. Hello, Jean-Marc. Welcome back. System map. All right, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. This has 2 bios. And then that will have 2 bios. Okay. Now, how did I get going too fast?
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Bacterium and Fonticula.
Orbital flight engaged.
Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
Okay. I was thinking that might be the bacteria, but I guess not.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
Hello, Ronin X33. Welcome to the channel. Glad to have you along. I want this one. Interesting mountains. Oh, there's a bacteria. Okay.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
Well, at least now we know what we're looking for bacteria. Do-do. Oops. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. I lost my poor meatball. Aha, okay. There we go. We'll double down on this stop. Honk. Okay. Hello, P10. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you along. P10 or PIO. I'm not quite sure which. Ah! Whoopsie. Wrong button. One more sample of bacteria. One more thing. Retract landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Well, guess we'll go over these mountains. Find the bacteria on the other side. Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
Cool. I left the bubble over a year and a half ago. Of course, I do spend some time on my other account, but let me see it. Yeah, so this is, what is it? Stream 269 since I left the bubble. And pretty much, I mean, the streams have been, most of the streams have been around an hour in length. About a couple of them have been like 3 and 4 hours. And it's not my first time out here either. First time I came out was on Distant Worlds 2, or Distant Worlds 1. Second time was on Distant Worlds 3. The third time was placing my carrier for the Deep Space Support Array. I came out here another time for something, and now I'm out again. Retract landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, engage.
One thin line across the galaxy. Not even a drop in a hat for the number of systems out here that need to be explored. But yeah, I've heard some mixed things about the new drive. Once you get a couple thousand light years from the bubble there, just pick a direction, go up, go down, go left, go right. It really doesn't matter. There's first footfalls anywhere you want to find them. System map. Yeah. I'll wait. So at this point, I'm only 8 jumps from my carrier, which has been out here for several years. Yeah, the new Python might drag me right back to the bubble just to get one. New paint jobs! Yeah! Woohoo! I wish they would put out a lot more paint jobs. I want more. And yes, I'm willing to spend money to buy the arcs to get them. Wouldn't mind a few more carrier options, too. Aha! Got a fleet color scheme thing going, huh? Okay. Yeah, no paint, no love in the paint department, no additional skins for them. I kind of wish the skins were more segmented so you could get you could specify the tail, the body, and the front just bow, stern, and middle separately. Because then I'd buy them all and mix and match till I found what I wanted. Just gotta slow down a little bit. Yeah, I know there's so many carriers in the game. It's crazy. Hello, Mr. Mad Hatter. Welcome back. Or even if they'd do something like make skins, or make some sort of skin software available where you could make skins and submit them in, and get a few pennies per skin back. Yeah.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Bacteria and fonticula again. If they can't get the manpower, just release the software to make it, and the community would be more than happy to supply the manpower. There are people who just love making skins for things, especially if they could get a few pennies per back when they get purchased. That would be nice.
Orbital flight engaged.
That you're not going to see. Because opening up for mod support makes it too easy to cheat. Yes, but they also Star Wars ships in Elite would be copyright infringement, so they have to be careful not to do that. Same with Star Trek ships. Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
That reminds me, I want to buy the Leonard Nimoy voice pack for this game.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
That way I could run Anubis and Spock at the same time. That would be funny. I should look up, see how much that would cost me. Retract landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Although before I do that, I do need to replace my IX head and eye tracker. That's a bit more important to me. Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
Be careful, you can burn your... I understand the ship gets quite hot and you burn fuel very fast. All right, now we got to find bacteria. That should be interesting. Extra fuel tanks, extra heat sinks, yeah. Seems like it's a very niche application. I don't know that I'd ever really want to build a ship around it. It's not the kind of thing you add on to just any ship. It's something you actually have to build the ship around. Because it's a small ship. You don't have a 5. I don't think you have a 5 slot in the entire ship because there's just no room for one. I don't think there's a useful, well, I don't remember what there is for fuel scoops. Yeah, man.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
It is great at what it does. There's a few other things you can use it for. You can use it for ground missions. I could see that, yeah. I don't think it's going to be very good for escaping interdictions because I'm figuring, the in-game pirates will all be equipped with it. Just means those without will get interdicted more often. Okay, this has suddenly become a pretty bad area to find retract landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
There.
Landing gear deployed.
Should be easier to spot over here. Yeah, but NPC pilots don't have to worry about that. They automatically handle it perfectly. It's only us poor humans that actually have to struggle to control things. There is that. Alrighty. Let's go a little further. Retract landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah.
3, 2,
Yeah. I don't care much for gankers, but then again, I don't care much for the combat anyway.
fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Boy, there's a lot of stars in this system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. Yeah, but there's ways, I mean, you don't have to go in open into those systems. I don't see any real point of it. Then get a private group going. There's always that.
System scan complete.
System map. I never really had any patience for them. Even when I played games that was a thing. Yeah, where there was only the open world and you basically had to end up in a guild or something like that to have any chance of surviving. Exactly. Right now I'm playing in private group, but none of the people in my private group happen to be online at the moment. I don't think, anyway. I have no friends online. Yep, okay. Yeah, I mean you're not generally when you're going into those systems, you're not equipped. You know, you're equipped for whatever mission you're on, not for dealing with gankers. And so you're immediately just going to lose because you're playing your game and they're just out there to be killjoys. So anytime I'm going near a system like that, I'm definitely in either solo or private group. In fact, I spend most of my time in private group because I just don't want to deal with them. More than happy to play with people, you know, like-minded people, no problem. Yeah, a lot of the gankers have actually left, except, you know, ones that hang in specific systems. Yeah, and they're more than welcome to go over there. Better there than here. Where I'm at now, if I'm in open, the only people I'm going to meet out here are explorers, so unlikely to be much in the way of armament on them.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Yeah, they hang where they can find the most victims. And so whenever I'm doing a CG or I'm going to Shinrada, I'm definitely not going in open because I just don't want to deal with it. Which is actually why most of the time that I don't deal with it. What's the point? I paid to play this game to have fun. If they're going to make it so it's not fun, I don't see a reason to oblige them. Thankfully, Elite provides the multiple game modes, so I can play it the way I want to play it. I'm a space trucker, not a combat pilot. Yeah, you don't see many people out here. I know there's a couple out in this area because just in the past week, somebody sold some exploration data to my carrier out here. So I know there's people out here. Not many, but there's a few. Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
Perhaps I'll see you out here somewhere, Mr. Mad Hatter.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
How many years ago was that? System map. Oof. Dab's Hope. Yeah, that's a special place.
Capacity exceeded.
Oh, I already did that. Yeah, I miss some of the early Planet Skates. Oh, jeez, I landed right in it. Oh, well. System map. System map. Retract landing gear.
Landing gear retract.
Frameshift drive charging.
Heck, I remember days when the only spaceship simulator out there was asteroids. You could still pick it up on Steam or Epic, if I remember correctly. So there's nothing stopping you from going back and playing it. Aha, the old C64. On the Atari 800 XL. Great, I don't know that one. I don't remember what was available for games on that. Because we didn't have one, we had a ColecoVision. Oh, Tandy. Now there's a name I haven't heard in ages. Pink! Got a pink planet.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete. Orbital flight engaged.
Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
I did a little bit of programming in school on the Apple IIe. We learned some BASIC and some Pascal on that. And then at home we had an Olivetti L1M20, which was which had a 16-bit operating system at the same time the XT came out, which was an 8-bit operating system. Yeah, let's just say I watched watched Neil Armstrong step out on the moon live. So, you're still a youngin'. Well, congratulations, Mr. Mad Hatter. You're actually older than I am. Not by too much, though. Oh, in some ways, I've kind of felt my mortality this week. One of my neighbors when I was growing up, who was a few years younger than me, just passed away this week. So, kind of starting to feel it. Hey, I still have a Dell tube monitor. It's VGA. Sitting over in the corner. I don't know if it still works because we had a lightning strike in the yard a couple years back. Yeah. So I don't know if all of the magnets for the tubes got remagnetized when lightning struck in the yard. If so, it's a useless tube at this point. Although in some ways it's useless. I don't think I have a graphics card with a VGA output anymore. System map. retract landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2.
Boat anchor. Yeah, it'd make a pretty good boat anchor. The thing weighs a ton. One of these days when they have the local electronics recycling day, I'll have to go pay to have them take it. 'Cause it's just taking up space right now. I've got no way to use it. I forget when we got ours. I know the one I watched the moon landing on was definitely black and white. Watched that and watched several of the launches before that. My parents got my brother and I up for every one of those. Well, my brother for as many of them as he's born in the middle of that. I doubt he remembers much of it. But I don't know, I've never really asked him how far back he remembers.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Yeah, they went for a bit of a rough period there, yeah. Yep. That was definitely cool.
Orbital flight engaged.
Not as well as I remember the Mir Skylab. I remember a little bit about it, but not as much. I was a bit young to be really interested. Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
I don't have too many memories from before the moon landing. I have a couple.
Power plant capacity exceeded. Power plant
What am I
capacity
doing?
exceeded.
That would be cool. Although then you got to worry how close we're getting to a Space 1999 scenario. If you remember that show. That would have been cool. But unfortunately, I live up here in New England, and have always lived up here in New England, so that's never been a option for me. Cool. But, remembering back in those days, I mean, that's part of the reason that I choose the HOTAS setup that I've got. I'm got a Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog, which is a A10C replica throttle and stick. And part of the reason I chose that is because when I went to my first air show, way back in the 70s, they actually let the kids get into the planes. And so I sat in the pilot's seat of an A-10 Warthog and actually was allowed to touch the controls. And I tell you, these replicas are perfect. Exactly like I remember them. Anyway, that's remembering way back. Where the heck was that first air show? Was that at Pease? Or was that, forget which air base that was at. Went there with my grandfather, father, and brother, and I forget who else was with us. But yeah, it was really something to sit in the pilot's seat. Of course, there was no way to start it. Everything was disabled somewhere. Um, but it was fun to actually be able to put my hands on the actual throttle and stick. Oh wow, getting into a commercial flight, that would have been fun as a kid. Never could do that today. What's funny is where I lived, we weren't all that far from Fort Devens, which is in Ayer, Massachusetts. Um, and they would have these joint exercises, and so we'd have wings of A-10 going over the house. Uh, Boy, those things made a racket. Uh, Planes were ugly as hell, looking at them from an aircraft design point of view, but from a close-in support, I mean, nobody's made a plane to compete with them yet. So they are absolutely amazing. True, we had some of those fly over as well. Uh, they were doing joint exercises out of Devens. It was so we'd have A-10s go overhead. We've had At-4s go overhead. We've had other stuff go overhead. It was yeah. The A-10 is just the most amazing close air support machine that's ever been made. Uh, the only thing with a longer loitering time is a helicopter, but their helicopters are a bit like the Apache, but they're a bit more fragile than the A-10 is. Um, the A-10 is a beast. It takes a beating and brings the pilot home. Oh God. Uh, Here's the problem with an F-22 can't slow down to the necessary speed to effectively do close ground support. I mean, you have to be flying less than 120 miles an hour or 120 knots airspeed. Um, and the F-22s just can't do that. And they've got these paper skin. Yeah, no, it's not a close support aircraft. It just can't do that job. And thank you, John McCain, for shooting that down. That was one of the dumbest things. Um, and Senator John McCain really, stepped up and spearheaded the effort to make sure we still had an effective close support aircraft in the Air Force. And yeah, it's still a role that's necessary, and there's still only one plane in the world that can do it. I wouldn't mind seeing the A-10, upgraded, beef it up somewhat, give it some more resilience, some more armor, maybe stronger plane engines, but basically don't alter the design all that much because it's a very effective design with the engines mounted way high up so that they're out of the dust. He's got quite the story, yeah. And I definitely appreciate all the years that he put in, and the fact that as he got put in there two of every animal in the B-52. You're pretty much good. Oh lordy, C-135, I think it was. But yeah. Yeah, that was. Thank you guys for the nice walk through memory lane. There's a lot of good memories back in there. Anyway, it is a work night, so I'm going to have to get my behind in bed at this point. We've actually, have we completed the system? I think we have. System map. Yeah, I did. Okay, great. Yeah, we old, but we gotta keep reminding these young kids that sometimes the old ways are the better ways. F-22 instead of Warthog. That was dumb. Anyway, gets my dander up every single time when I think about that. Anyway, so at this point, how many jumps do we have left? We have 7 jumps remaining. Yeah, well, I try and stay out of politics as much as possible because people these days tend to be very divided and very opinionated, so it's best to stay out of that arena. So yeah, so 7 jumps to go. I'd like to thank everyone who came along for the ride this evening. It was great having you all along. In the stream chat, we have Shane, Jean-Marc, Ronan, P10. At least I think that's P10. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Mr. Mad Hatter. And did we have one more? There's a lot of chat. And, oh, Bursty Birdie, I missed you joining us. Sorry about that. And I think that's everybody. I hope I didn't miss anybody. So at this point, we're going to leave things here. Pick it up again tomorrow night. Let me do one other thing before I do that. Stop. Turn that on. Turn that on. I'll do this 2 nights in a row. There I am. So yes, you can tell from my gray hairs, I am an old guy now. At any rate, so we're going to leave things here. Pick it up again tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's all for now. This is Trace Majestus, signing out.